4. Choosing your dream means refusing permission. Most people never realize how much of their life is dictated by the invisible weight of other people's expectations. 4. From the moment you're young, you're trained to ask, is this okay? Do they approve? What will they think? You wait for the nod of approval, the green light, for the validation that says you're allowed to move forward. But here's the harsh truth. If you wait for permission, you'll wait forever. For the world doesn't hand you permission slips for greatness. It hands you excuses, distractions, and opinions. And if you let those voices decide for you, 4, your dream will die in silence. Choosing your dream is an act of rebellion against that system. It's a declaration that says, 4, I don't need you to clap for me before I start. I don't need you to understand why this matters. 4, I don't even need you to agree, because dreams are not committee decisions. They are not group projects. They are deeply personal, before born inside you for a reason no one else is supposed to fully understand. And if you wait for everyone to be on board, you'll never begin. The truth is, most people can't see what you see. They don't carry your vision, your hunger, your fire. 4, so how could they possibly give you permission for something that was never theirs to begin with? Think about history. For every person who ever did something extraordinary was told at some point that they were wrong, foolish, or crazy. Innovators, leaders, before creators, they all faced resistance from the people around them. But they moved forward anyway because they understood one thing. Before, greatness doesn't come from consensus, it comes from conviction. And conviction doesn't need permission. The reason so many people live small lives is not because they lack talent or opportunity. It's because they hand over the steering wheel of their life to someone else's opinion. They wait for their parents to say, before go for it. They wait for friends to say, that's a good idea. They wait for society to say, you fit the mold. And in the waiting, years pass. 4, the dream fades. By the time they realize it, it's too late. They traded their dream for permission slips that never came. 4, choosing your dream means standing in the uncomfortable space of disapproval. It means people will question you, doubt you, maybe even laugh at you. And that's fine, because their laughter doesn't pay your bills. Their doubt doesn't carry your purpose. 4, their approval doesn't add 1 ounce of meaning to your life. Only your decision does. And here's the paradox. Once you stop needing permission, 4, people eventually respect you more. They might not get it at first, but when they see you stand firm, when they see results, when they see the courage it takes to chase something bigger than yourself, they change their tune. The same voices that doubted you will eventually say, 4, I always believed in her. But by then, you'll know the truth. It wasn't their belief that got you there. It was yours. Refusing permission is the purest form of freedom. It is saying, I will live this one life as my own, 4, not as a shadow of someone else's expectations. And that decision alone separates the few who live with passion from the many who live with regret. So remember this, your dream doesn't need signatures. It doesn't need a stamp of approval. It doesn't need anyone else to believe in it. It just needs you. And the moment you choose it fully, without apology, without waiting for permission, that's the moment your real life begins. The world is built to distract you, not deliver your dream. That's the reality most people never want to face, but it's true. Everywhere you look, there are forces pulling at your attention, 4, your time, your focus. Social media wants you scrolling for hours. Television wants you binging. Before, friends want you to go out and forget your goals for just one more night. And society wants you to fit into a safe, predictable path. From the moment you wake up to the moment you sleep, the world is designed to keep you entertained, comfortable, and distracted. But here's the problems. 4, dreams don't grow in distraction. Dreams demand focus. They demand intention, and that's exactly what the world is trying to steal from you every single day. Think about it. Every app on your phone is engineered to hold your attention longer than the last. The notifications, the endless feeds, the likes, the comments, they're all designed to give you quick dopamine hits that make you feel busy, but they don't move you closer to your dream. They trick your brain into thinking you're achieving something when in reality, you're just burning time you can never get back. And while you're distracted, 4, while your eyes are glued to screens and your energy is spent chasing little bursts of instant gratification, your dream is quietly slipping further away. For the truth is, your dream isn't going to show up at your doorstep. It's not going to knock and say, "Here I am." For let's get started. No one is going to hand it to you. The world won't deliver it because the world doesn't care about your dream. The world cares about keeping you average, predictable, and controllable.
Yeah,
so that's why everything around you is built for consumption, not creation. For you're encouraged to consume content, consume products, consume entertainment. But very few things in the world are encouraging you to sit down, build before, and create the life you want. And that's why most people never see their dream realized. They're too distracted to even chase it. This is the trap most fall into. They think they'll get to their dream later, after the show ends, after the weekend trip, after they check their feed, but later becomes weeks, months, and years. One day they wake up realizing they gave the best hours of their life to distractions, or while their dream sat in the corner gathering dust. Distraction feels harmless in the moment, but it's deadly over time. It doesn't steal your dream all at once. It steals it inch by inch until you've lost the energy, the time, and sometimes even the belief that you're capable of chasing it anymore. But here's the thing, the people who rise above, the ones who actually achieve their dream, they're not necessarily smarter or luckier, for they're just ruthless about protecting their focus. They see the world for what it is, a battlefield for attention. Before, they understand that every yes to a distraction is a no to their dream. So they cut ruthlessly, they eliminate the noise, they stop waiting for permission. Before, they stop expecting the world to help them because they know the world isn't built for their success. It's built for their comfort. Before, and they choose growth over comfort every time. If you want your dream, you have to fight for it. Before, you have to build systems that guard your focus like it's the most valuable thing you own, because it is. You have to decide every single day before that your dream matters more than the endless noise around you. The world won't deliver it. No app, no news, no entertainment will build your future. Only you will. The distractions will always be there waiting for you to choose them. But so will your dream, waiting for you to finally choose it instead. That's the test. That's the difference. The world is built to distract you, but your dream is built to reward you. And in the end, before, you only get one life to decide which one you'll give your attention to. Comfort is the enemy of greatness. It feels good in the moment before, but it quietly robs you of the future you could have had. Comfort is the warm bed that keeps you from waking up early to train. It's the easy paycheck that convinces you not to start the business you've always dreamed about. 4, it's the safe relationship that doesn't challenge you but also doesn't inspire you. Comfort is deceptive. It disguises itself as happiness, but in reality, or it is stagnation. It tricks you into believing that good enough is enough while deep down you know you were built for more. Greatness requires friction. Before, it requires pressure, resistance, and the willingness to do what most people won't. When you chase greatness, you step into discomfort every single day. Before, you push your body beyond exhaustion, you challenge your mind against doubt, you expose yourself to criticism and rejection. None of that feels comfortable. But those are the very conditions where growth happens. Muscles don't grow without resistance. Skills don't sharpen without repetition. Leaders don't emerge without challenges. The path to greatness is forged in discomfort. Comfort whispers, stay here. You've done enough. But greatness screams, keep going. You are not finished. And the difference between the people who achieve extraordinary things and the people who settle into mediocrity is simple. Or one group chooses discomfort willingly while the other avoids it at all costs. The greatest athletes in the world train when they don't feel like it. 4, the most successful entrepreneurs keep building when others would have quit. Before, the people who change history endure the pain of discomfort because they know it is the price of greatness. For the danger of comfort is that it doesn't hurt you right away. In fact, it rewards you instantly. Resting feels good. Playing it safe feels secure. Avoiding risk feels smart. But the cost is hidden. You don't notice it today or tomorrow or even next year. For you notice it when years pass and you realize you've been in the same place, living the same life with the same results. Comfort slowly kills your ambition. 4, it dulls your fire. It convinces you to shrink instead of expand. And by the time you see what it has stolen from you, it's often too late to get it back. On the other hand, discomfort hurts now but rewards you later. Waking up early is painful in the moment, but it gives you the discipline to build something great. 4. Putting yourself out there is terrifying, but it opens doors you never imagined. Working when you're tired is draining before, but it separates you from everyone who quit early. Discomfort is temporary, but the rewards it produces are permanent. 4. Greatness has never come from people who lived comfortable lives. Every story of success, every breakthrough, every revolution has been led by someone who stepped out of comfort and into challenge. They were willing to look foolish, to struggle before, to face setbacks that most people run from. That's why we call them great, because they did what comfort would never allow. The truth is this: you can't chase two masters at once. You can't cling to comfort and expect greatness to meet you halfway. They are opposites. One demands that you stay the same. 4. The other demands that you transform. If you want greatness, you have to give up comfort. You have to trade the easy path for the hard one, for the short-term pleasure for the long-term reward. And when you do, you'll discover that everything you ever wanted was waiting for you on the other side of discomfort. Comfort may feel safe, but it is the slowest form of self-destruction. Greatness may feel dangerous, but it is the only path that leads to fulfillment. That's the choice: comfort or greatness. And the truth is, only one of them will matter when you look back on your life. Dreams demand sacrifice. That's the part most people don't want to hear. It's easy to say, follow your dreams. It sounds nice, it feels good before. It looks inspiring written on a poster. But the truth is much harsher. Following your dreams will cost you. It will take things from you. 4. It will ask you to give up comfort, certainty, and sometimes even relationships. That's why so few people truly live their dreams, because the price is high before, and most people aren't willing to pay it. When you decide to pursue something big, the first thing you sacrifice is comfort. 4. Dreams are not built in the space of ease. They are built in long nights, early mornings, and hours of work when no one is clapping for you. You don't get to sleep like everyone else. You don't get to spend your weekends like everyone else. You trade those luxuries for the grind, for repetition, for failing and fixing until you get it right. Comfort asks you to stay the same. Dreams ask you to grow, and growth is never comfortable. 4. The next sacrifice is certainty. Most people live their lives clinging to security. A steady paycheck, a predictable routine, the reassurance that tomorrow will look the same as today. But dreams demand you step into the unknown. They require you to risk stability. To step onto a path where the outcome is not guaranteed. Chasing a dream means putting yourself in situations where you might lose, where you might look foolish, where the safety net disappears. And that's terrifying, but it's also the only way to find out what you're truly capable of. You will also have to sacrifice time. Time that could have been spent relaxing, scrolling, partying, or blending in with the crowd. For every hour you put into your dream is an hour you don't get to spend somewhere else. And that choice will cost you socially. Friends may not understand why you're missing out. People may call you obsessed or too serious. But obsession is what dreams demand. Dreams don't bloom from casual effort. They grow from relentless focus, from hours invested that no one sees. 4. From discipline so strong that people mistake it for madness. Sometimes the sacrifice goes even deeper. 4. You may lose people along the way, people who don't share your vision, who feel threatened by your ambition before, or who simply don't understand why you won't settle. That loss hurts, but it's part of the price. Not everyone is meant to walk with you to the finish line. 4. Some people are only meant for the beginning of your story, not the end. Choosing your dream means accepting that not everyone will clap for you. 4. And some will even try to pull you back. The sacrifice is learning to let go. And then there's the sacrifice of the old version of yourself. 4. The part of you that procrastinates, the part of you that makes excuses, the part of you that wants things to be easy. 4. That version of you cannot survive if your dream is going to live. You must outgrow yourself. You must be willing to kill the habits, the thoughts before, and the behaviors that keep you average. Dreams demand that you trade who you are for who you must become. It sounds harsh, but here's the truth. Or the sacrifices don't weaken you, they shape you. Every comfort you give up, every certainty you release, for every piece of yourself you outgrow, it all sharpens you into the person strong enough to carry your dream. That's why the price is high because dreams aren't meant for everyone. They're meant for the ones who are willing to pay with discipline, resilience, and courage. At the end of the day, Or the sacrifices feel heavy in the moment, but they are nothing compared to the reward. Because when your dream finally takes form, when you see the vision you carried inside you come alive in the real world, the sacrifices don't feel like losses anymore. They feel like investments. And you realize that the price you paid wasn't too high at all. It was exactly what was required. Dreams demand sacrifice, but the life they give you in return makes every sacrifice worth it. Regret costs more than failure. Failure is temporary. It comes and it goes but regret stays with you forever. When you fail, you may feel the sting of disappointment, the weight of embarrassment, and the frustration of not getting the result you wanted. But failure is alive. It moves you forward. It teaches you lessons. It forces you to grow. It may bruise your ego, but it never has the power to define you. Regret, on the other hand, has no lesson. It offers no growth, no second chance. Only the haunting thought of what could have been. That thought sits with you in the quiet hours of the night. It surfaces years later when you see others doing what you once dreamed of, and it becomes a constant reminder that you chose comfort over courage. The truth is, for people who fail while chasing their dreams live lighter than those who never try. Even if they stumble, even if the world sees them fall they carry the peace of knowing they stepped into the arena. They dared, they risked, they put their hearts into something bigger than themselves. That act alone carries dignity. But the person who lets fear win, who never even tries, pays with something far greater. They carry the weight of silence. They wake up every day with a hidden part of themselves locked away, knowing deep inside that they traded their potential for safety. And when the years pass, when time is gone and choices can no longer be changed, they don't remember the comfort they once clung to. They remember the dreams they buried. Failure is never final because it keeps you moving. When you fail, you can stand back up, you can analyze what went wrong, you can improve, and you can try again. For history is full of stories of people who failed repeatedly before finally breaking through. Failure sharpens ambition. It is feedback. It shows you where you stand and what needs to change. And the beauty of failure is that every attempt brings you closer to success, even if you can't see it yet. Regret doesn't do that. Regret leaves you with nothing but empty space. It doesn't tell you what might have worked. It doesn't guide you to improve. It just sits inside you, cold and heavy, a constant reminder of a chance never taken. The real tragedy is that most people don't understand this until it's too late. They think avoiding failure means safety but what they're really doing is building a cage around themselves. They choose not to risk, not to leap, not to step into discomfort. And in the process, they slowly erase their own potential. Safety feels good in the short term, but in the long term, it robs you of the life you could have lived. And when you look back, you realize the price was far too high. Failure may cost you pride, time, or money, but regret cost you your future. Think of it like this. Failure is a bruise, but regret is a scar. A bruise heals, a scar stays. A bruise teaches you to be more careful, more strategic, more determined. A scar reminds you every single day of what you lost because you didn't act. The bruise fades with time, but the scar is permanent. Which price would you rather pay? In the end, failing while chasing your dreams still gives you something to hold on to. You gain wisdom, resilience, and the satisfaction of knowing you tried. But living with regret means you never gave yourself the chance. You never saw what you could have become. That is why regret costs more than failure, because it takes away not just your dream, but the very possibility of living a life true to yourself. A woman who chooses her dream inspires change beyond herself. At first, it may not look that way. When she takes her first steps, it seems personal. It looks like she's just making a decision for her own life, choosing her career, building her business, writing her book, raising her voice But the truth is bigger. Every time a woman decides to step out of the mold the world built for her, she quietly gives permission for others to do the same. Her courage doesn't stay contained within her own story. It leaks into the lives of everyone watching, even the ones she may never meet. The people closest to her feel it first. A daughter sees her mother chase a dream, and suddenly her idea of what's possible expands. A friend sees her commit to a vision, and suddenly their excuses feel smaller. A community sees her succeed against the odds, and suddenly they believe that maybe they can too. This ripple effect is powerful because it doesn't come from preaching, it comes from living. For inspiration isn't about words, it's about proof. And proof is created by action. The world is full of women who were told to stay quiet, to play small before, to choose safety. So when one woman breaks that pattern and chooses differently, she disrupts generations of conditioning. She becomes living evidence that the limits people thought were fixed can actually be broken. That's not just inspiring, it's transformative. For it shifts the culture. It tells little girls that their voice matters. It tells other women that it's not too late. It tells men that strength has many forms. And one of them is the relentless pursuit of a dream. And here's the thing, inspiration doesn't require perfection. A woman doesn't have to be flawless or win every battle to change lives. Sometimes it's the struggle itself that teaches the most. People watching her fail and still keep going learn resilience. People watching her fall and rise again learn perseverance. People watching her build slowly day by day learn that greatness is not built in a moment, but in persistence. The act of continuing becomes a lesson bigger than any speech could deliver. Inspiring change isn't about being the loudest. It's about being consistent. It's about choosing the dream over and over, even when it's hard, even when it's unpopular, even when nobody claps. That consistency becomes a mirror for others. They see her discipline and realize their own excuses are thin. Or they see her courage and realize their own fear is just a story. They see her sacrifices and realize their own comfort has a cost. A woman who chooses her dream rewrites the rules for everyone else. She shows that motherhood and ambition can coexist. That leadership and compassion can walk side by side. That success doesn't have to look like what tradition dictated. Her life becomes a story others can point to when they need evidence that the dream they hold is not impossible. Even strangers who never meet her may read her story, watch her journey, or hear her name and feel something inside shift. That's the invisible power of her choice. It multiplies far beyond her reach. And maybe the most powerful part is this: she doesn't just change others by reaching the dream. She changes them by chasing it. The act of choosing, of standing up and saying, "This is mine and I will go after it," is already enough to spark a fire. Because the world doesn't need more people who settle. The world needs more people who choose. And every woman who chooses her dream doesn't just change her own destiny, she sets a precedent. She builds a bridge for the next woman to walk across, a bridge made of courage, proof, and possibility. Her choice is never just for herself. It is for every person who sees her and thinks, if she can before, maybe I can too. That is how one decision ripples into generations. That is how one dreamer becomes the reason thousands more begin to dream.